Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Welcome to the international webinar of Leaps and Bounds Forward, Taiwan supports world-class EV supply chain for your business. My name is Maggie Wu, and I'm pleasure to be the MC for today. On behalf of Bureau of Foreign Trade of MOEA, I would like to extend our warmest welcome to all of you. We appreciate you for taking off your busy schedule to join us today, and we hope you find today's webinar informative and fruitful. For the past few years, Taiwan has been an important supplier for global electric vehicle manufacturers. Through effective integration of component and parts, as well as machinery supply chain, we take pride in providing prominent hardware solutions. The webinar brings together Taiwanese EV manufacturers, leading EV parts manufacturers, and smart machinery manufacturers to introduce their most comprehensive solutions and applications. Meanwhile, as Tier 1 suppliers for global automobile manufacturers, they will also share the advanced technologies that can support and complete your EV supply chain. In addition to keynote speeches, there will also be panel sessions for more in-depth discussions on business opportunities and trends of the EV industry. Without further ado, please welcome Tim Lai, President of Precision Machinery Research Development Center, to deliver the opening remarks.
Hello and welcome industrial experts and friends. This electric vehicle is highly supported by the environmental policies in many countries and accelerate the transformation of a traditional automobile industry. It encourages more and more car manufacturers and their supply chain to enter this emerging market. Taiwan has a complete vehicle supply chain. For example, from upstream, we could provide smart manufacturing equipment to the application side via OEM automotive components and car for world-leading companies. Taiwan companies also successfully enter the Tier 1 supply chain and have become the world's best automobile partner. We are confident that we will fulfill the market needs. Taiwan's parts manufacturers have entered the electric vehicle industry a while ago. We supply power harness and decelerate gear. Today, the supply chain has shifted, and we are focused on providing lithium-ion battery, copper foil, battery cathode material, cooling fan, LED leading light, automobile camera, touch panel, charger, the computer which covers the entire car like automotive electric system, body, battery, charging, ICE powertrain. In addition, Taiwan's machinery and equipment industries rank 5th in global exports. It shows that Taiwan can provide a total solution and be the key partner to world-class electric vehicle manufacturers. Next, Taiwan has been the relative major OEM automotive industry and could become the best strategic partner for automobile brands in Asia, Europe, and the United States. Furthermore, Taiwan owns domestic automotive brands such as Yulong, which has led the global electric vehicle trend too. Today, Yulong and Foxtron, the Deputy Director, Mr. Zhuo Zhisen, also participated in this forum. He launched electric vehicle product several years ago and has a well understanding of electric vehicles. This online cross-domain exchange forum is sponsored by the Bureau of Foreign Trade MOEA. It aims to promote Taiwan's top parts manufacturer, smart machinery and equipment manufacturers, and electric vehicle OEMs. Hope this forum allows foreign investors to know Taiwan's key technical capability for build electric vehicles. If you are interested in any topic, please feel free to contact our manufacturer for more information. Finally, I would like to thank Foxtron Vehicle Vice Chairman Mr. Zuo Zhishen, SOCO General Manager Mr. Kyle Low, TYC General Manager Mr. Michael Chen, the CEO of FACS Mr. Alan Wang, Honda Industrial Senior Manager Mr. Maurice Wu, Gaofeng Assistant Vice President Jason Yeo, and our host National Formosa University Assistant Professor Zhang Ziqi, PNG Director Zhao Renzhong, PNG Deputy Director Chen Zhongping. Best wish on this forum. Thank you.
Thank you, President Tim Lai, for the wonderful remarks. In today's webinar, we invited 6 representative companies to share innovative solutions and business opportunities for electric vehicles. There will be 3 sessions, each of which consists of 2 keynote speeches and 1 panel discussion. 3 important topics regarding electric vehicles will be presented and discussed individually in each session, including lightweight construction and parts for electric vehicles, technology and applications of automotive lighting manufacturing, and gear reducer system with high precision and quiet operation. For the first session, we are honored to have Dr. Zhang, Assistant Professor of Department of Mechanical and Computer-Aided Engineering of National Formosa University, to be our host. He and the 2 speakers will focus on the development of Taiwan's electric vehicle industry and the trend of lightweight construction and parts for electric vehicles. Now, please welcome Dr. Zhang to introduce more about the topic and the speakers.
Hello, I'm Watson. I'm served in National Formosa University, Taiwan. Welcome everyone in the global EV industry to join this webinar. Today, we will focus on Taiwan's EV industry and discuss the solution Taiwan's EV supply chain can provide to lightweight construction and parts. There are more than 20 tubular components in a vehicle. Under the trend of electric vehicle lightweighting, I believe Taiwan can provide innovative service. In today's forum, we are honored to have Mr. Zuo Zhishen, Vice Chairman of Foxtron Vehicle Technologies, to share the development of Taiwan's electric vehicle in the global market. Fortron is a joint venture established by Yulong Group and Foxconn Group. Fortron creates a strong ecosystem of its major partners and customers in the industry and has become one of the world's largest mobility technology and manufacturing service provider. Mr. Zhou has rich experience in the automotive industry. He is currently the vice chairman of Foxtron. Meanwhile, we will have Mr. Kyle Rowe, CEO of SOCO Machinery, to talk about the differences of the processing technology between electric and gas-light vehicle. SOCO is a global machine manufacturer with over 40 years. Their tube bender and bar shoring machine have taken up the highest market share in Asia and top 3 in the world. SOCO is also the world's first company developing fiber laser tube cutting machine with R&D and manufacturing all made in Taiwan. First, Let's welcome Mr. Zhou, Vice Chairman and Foxtron Vehicle Technologies, to talk about the global trend of electric vehicles.
Hello, everyone. On the Foxtron Technology Day of last October, Foxtron announced to cooperate with the 70-year veteran Yulong Group to penetrate EV industry. Foxtron also indicate their 3+3 strategy and established the MIH Alliance to develop their own electric business. All Taiwan-related electric vehicle industry have been inspired since. Not only Taiwan, the global electric vehicle market have been booming over recent years. In early August, US President Biden also announced that the market share of electric vehicle sales in the United States should reach 50% in 2030. So today I'm going to introduce you about the future trend of the electric vehicle industry globally and the competitive advantage what we have, even we start relatively slow in Taiwan. Energy shortage, air pollution, and global warming are the key factors driving countries around the world to promote the electric vehicle industry vigorously. Increasingly stringent energy consumption and emission regulation have also promoted countries to set a time limit for banning the sale of ICE vehicles. From this table, we can see that some European countries will ban the sale of petrol vehicle in 2030. And for United States, which had not made any statement in before, also announced that the sales of electric vehicle in 2030 must reach 50% in annual total market. Although car manufacturers around the world have been developed electric vehicle for a while, but the sales performance was not so good due to the cost, the weight of battery is too high, and the quality of battery is not so stable, and lack of charging stations, so cruise range anxiety. This problem has been gradually improved, especially the significant reduction in battery costs, coupled with the quick rising of Tesla. The sale of electric vehicle has increasing substantially in past few years. Please check this chart. The sales volume of energy vehicle in the world in 2020 is around 3 million. And according to the Deloitte's prediction, global sales of new energy vehicle will reach 30 million units in 2030, and of which among that 80% is the pure BEV. From 3 million units in 2020 to 30 million units in 2030, the major brands are rushed into the big market aggressively. Of course, Tesla is still the leading brand at this moment, but even those traditional manufacturers that have been behind for a while, such as Volkswagen, BMW, Toyota, Honda, have also begun to invest resources in striding forward and catch up dramatically. Furthermore, a bunch of new players have emerged, such as NIO, Xiaopeng, and Li Auto. Also, some ICT giants like Foxconn, Huawei, Xiaomi have also announced that they will join this melee. At this year, 2021 Shanghai Auto Show, I believe you have already smelled the fierce competition in between the brands. There are 72 new energy vehicle launches. Among them, 58 are pure BEV. Frankly speaking, it's difficult to have the profit from the EV business at this moment. Even the leading brand, Tesla's profit is not from the selling electric vehicles. Previously, most of the profit were made by selling carbon credit. Since the big investment from traditional car brands to develop their own electric vehicle, the opportunity for profiting from the sales of carbon credit have shrunk dramatically. In addition, so many new players have joined this battlefield, and the future competition is bound to become more severe. In the lack of profit, some brands which are not in good shape might be eliminated inevitably in the future. In the past, the core competitiveness of petrol vehicle was the technology of engine and transmission. And what will be the core competitive advantage needed to develop electric vehicle? Of course, it will be the three key components: the motor, the battery, and the electronic controls. Therefore, some people say that only those who master the core technology of these three key components will have the opportunity to dominate the EV world. Recently, one key phrase is big data determine the user experience. Software define car. Whether it is traditional car brand or new EV player, seems that they all agree to adopt the CASE development strategy. So in addition to electrification, intelligence will also be the decision point in the future. But what is a small car? Different interpretation defines respectively. In the future, only those who can truly provision the demands of customers will be the final winner. Taiwan's electric vehicle industry started later than others' brands, and it seems that there is no really developing own brand for the electric vehicle business. Then what advantage does Taiwan have to rely on to surpass the leading brands that have already occupied the market? From this chart, we can see that although Taiwan did not have a complete electric vehicle company before, but it does have the strong supply chain of electric vehicle components. In Tesla's logistics system, Taiwanese manufacturers have contributed in all fields. But it's just a pity that most of these Taiwanese suppliers only play the roles of tier 2, tier 3, even tier 4. Taiwan is lack of important tier 1 suppliers, such as Bosch, Continental, Nippon Denso, which can play a piloting role in the electric vehicle industry. Perhaps in the future, Foxtron will be able to achieve such role. On the Technology Day in October 2020, Foxtron announced that it will enter the electric vehicle industry and establish the MIH platform. Foxtron intends to collaborate global partners who are aspiring to develop and contribute their efforts to the electric vehicle industry from MIH platform. The MIH, some people illustrate as Made in Hong Hai, and also as known as Mobility in Harmony. This open platform is not only derived from Foxtron's continuous innovation of technology, along with reliable quality, but also for all partners in the smart transportation ecosystem, whether it is an OEM, a supplier, an industry player, or new creation team, willing to contribute their innovative ideas on the MIH platform to make the dream come true. The MH Alliance was established less than a year and have already gathered more than 1,800 partners around the world. And from this chart, you can see some of them are the major league players who have been penetrating and developing in the smart transportation ecosystem for many years. Foxtron's development strategy for electric vehicles, not just from mastering the core technology of battery, motor, and electron controls. Of course, it will not deviate from the established roots of CASE. It is understood that Foxconn has also invest a lot of resource in solid-state battery, semiconductor, and software. The goal is to gain an important role in the booming electric vehicle market before the year of 2025. Foxtron have already set up their EV product plan for the next 5 years. You can see from this chart. Their goal is to take 10% of the global EV market share before the year of 2030. Okay, that is the end of my introduction of the EV trend today. If you need more information, please go to the website of the Foxtron. Thank you for your listening. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Mr. Zhou, for the inspiring speech. Next, let's invite Mr. Kai Ro to share the comparison of two processing technology between electric and gas-drive vehicles.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kyle. I'm the CEO of SOCO Machinery in Taiwan. Today's topic that I would like to cover is a fabrication perspective of tubes between electric versus fuel-driven vehicles. So we'll start a little bit with an introduction of our company. Our company was established in 1979 with over 500 global employees, and we are a company dedicated for solutions for tube processing. These include tube laser cutting, sheet metal lasers, tube bending, and tube cutting machines. We are headquartered in Taiwan with 5 global factories and 25 global branches, plus 40 plus global partners. So we do supply directly to many countries and many tier 1 applications, especially in the automotive industry. Here is a breakdown, or a general breakdown, of where tubes are being used in our everyday life. Automotive industry is one of the biggest parts, from car seats to exhaust systems to brake lines, as well as fitness equipment, such as treadmills, weightlifting equipment, and so forth. Furniture, from tables to chairs, as well as structural parts, aerospace, construction, and healthcare. These, just to name a few of the industries we cover with our solutions. A little bit about electric vehicles and the industry as a whole. Currently, it's estimated that its market worth at 986 billion US dollars. It's a major industry, and there's no doubt that this industry continues to grow. In the last few years, EV sales have seen a steep increase. Even though last year, with the global pandemic, growth has slowed down, the trend is undeniable. The growth is there. Among other news, United States has promoted that they want to increase by 2030 a 50% growth, 50% market share of new vehicles to be electric driven. So it continues to grow with a CAGR of 17.4% over the next 7 years. And there's a final forecast that by 2040, zero emissions vehicles will account for 70% of all new vehicle sales. Here are some more figures. EV sales rose from 65% from 2017 to 2018, reaching by 2019 2.3 million vehicles. And at this year, in 2021, it's estimated that it will surpass 3 million vehicles. The biggest consuming area of the world is still Europe and China. We, SOCO, as I said before, we are dedicated for tube solutions, tube fabrication solutions. So here's a breakdown of tubular components that exist in standard traditional fuel-driven cars compared to EVs. In electric vehicles, some parts no longer exist. The most clear one are the exhaust systems. Also, there will be no fuel systems, there's no clutch system, there's no cooling system for the engines, and there's a simplified brake line system. On the other hand, new tubular components are dedicated for EV cars. Because EV cars require batteries, there's a new developed cooling system. There are also tubes that support and guide all the additional electric wiring and sensors. Electric vehicles also tend to have a more modular and round figure, and therefore they have roof support frames for better lighting. Finally, they also have more compact air conditioning systems, we call HVAC systems. There's also a trend that started with traditional vehicles and continues with EVs, which is the lightweight trend. Due to gas emission regulations across the globe, automakers obviously are reducing weight and vehicle structure mass to improve battery life, driving range, and overall performance. A lighter vehicle requires less energy, and therefore, the higher driving efficiency and range can be achieved. So manufacturers are working on new designs with economic lightweight structures, combining high-strength steel, as well as aluminum components and other special alloys. Here is an example of some special parts in electric vehicles. Electric vehicles tend to use high tensile strength materials, used primarily for stabilizer tubes, impact beams, car seats, and steering system. They also use special tubular profiles, such as for the overall chassis, the roof, the dashboard, and so forth. So there are still a lot of tubes in electric vehicles. With these new materials and these new changes in fabrication, new challenges also arrive. So with the higher tensile materials, that means they are harder to machine, harder to cut. Materials, in order to achieve lighter weight, they also became thinner. So there's a challenge of preventing deformation and rupture. Tubes, which tend to be round before, they also now have non-traditional shapes, such as omega shapes and other shapes. So it requires versatile multitasking machines to process such materials. And finally, there's a focus on safety, as electric vehicles tend to accelerate and reach higher speeds, and as, of course, aesthetics. The cars need to look good. So it needs solutions to achieve higher production requirements. Among the solutions we propose and that we are currently offering to Tier 1, Tier 2 manufacturers and OEMs, for the first solution are tube laser cutting systems. In here, we can see a model called the SLT-152. It's a fiber laser tube cutting machine that allows you to cut different types of profiles, shapes, and all types of different alloys and steels, regardless of tensile strength. Here is a quick video of the process. So that was a brief example of a tube laser cutting machine. With tube lasers, it is possible to combine multiple technologies and multiple processes into a single machine. So this system, a 3D laser, it's able to angle cut, slot, mark, notch, among other processes. Before, it was necessary to use presses, notching machines, saws, and multiple other processes to achieve the same final product. So with a tube laser, it is able to cut not only harder materials, but combine multiple processes. And the applications include, as noted before, impact beams, bumper beams, roof support frames, and dashboards. Another current solution is what we call the SLT robot cut. This is a laser system placed together with a robot, a robotic system that is able to cut formed shapes. Current tube systems cut straight tubes. With a robot cut, it is able to cut a part that has already been formed, pressed, hydroformed, and so forth. So this is a very useful application for special parts, especially for frames. Also, other tube laser cutting solutions include the SLT-102, a smaller machine which is widely used for cutting tubes used in car seating frames. So the machine, again, is able to cut different sizes, different shapes, all in fully automatic modes. The next process, the next vital process, is bending. Tube bending is used very much in different parts of the electric vehicle, car seats, dashboards, and so forth. Because of the requirement for lighter weights, there's less and less welding in tubes. So it is more common to produce a single tubular part all in one step. So it requires more sophisticated machines that are able to bend the parts continuously and without interference. So here's an example. So a lot of these processes were not achievable with traditional machinery. So now, with this all-in-one solution, it is able to achieve a lot of the parts designed for electric vehicles. So again, here are some more examples. Stabilizer bars, car seat frames, headrests are all typical tubular components using these all-electric CNC tube benders. Another common product, which is a trademark of a lot of the famous electric vehicle manufacturers, are the cabin frames, especially the rooftops. These frames do not use traditional round tubes. They use special profiles, which in itself are difficult to process, difficult to form, and more importantly, they are difficult to control, both in accuracy and thinning. So here's a small video of this process in action. So cabin frames and chassis benders is another typical solution we provide for the electric vehicle industry. And finally, we have special controls, which offer advanced production management. It is common now to talk about Industry 4.0. So we adhere to such standards, where you can monitor your production anytime from anywhere. We are able to provide solutions where you can see the part that you design, as well as simulate the production. It automatically compensates by connecting to measuring systems. We offer real-time production reports, internet remote monitoring for real-time production feedback. Also, the I2 controls have a vast built-in library for different cutting parameters, as we are using now very different types of materials. So with the built-in database, we are able to cut down on downtime, and it's much quicker and easier to produce new parts. We are also able to design and import CAD files in 3D formats. We're offering reverse engineering tools, file management for parts and tooling, and including tracking of tool life and wear out. Finally, user permissions for systems for flexible data access control, and machine preventive maintenance system with customized alarms and reminders. These are all parts of the new trend of productivity and production requirements on electric vehicle production lines. So, in short, with the new production lines, electric vehicles have the potential to reshape not only the transportation section, but manufacturing as a whole. It's undeniable that electric vehicles will be massively adopted around the world. And then with the increase of electric vehicle sales, suppliers from Taiwan and around the globe will face a new phase of transition for new types of fabrication and advanced production lines. Thank you for your time.
And thank you, Mr. Lo, for the speech. After hearing the sharing of two speakers, let's move on the topic of trend of business opportunity of lightweight construction and parts in electric vehicles. And first, may I ask Mr. Zhou, does Foxtron vehicle technologies have a differentiated strategy for the solution provided by different regions in the world?
Okay, in Foxtron, we have a variety of customers all over the world, United States, China, Southeast, even Europe in the future. All these countries, they have their own individual regulation regarding the safety, environment protection need to be met. The market requirement and the user experience is also quite different from country to country, such as United States. The safety requirement is very high. So you need to design a strong body, but lightweight. And also your design need to adopt a lot of the active safety protection equipment. But in Southeast Asia, maybe the price is their first priority. So the design of the body will be quite different from the version of United States. Before, with all these different design, we need to have different requirement, different design. But right now, we use the concept of open platform, or you may say the common platform. Then we can meet the variety of requirements from different markets to save a lot of money and timing in design the EV vehicle.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Zhou, what do you think? International advantage of Taiwan's equipment manufacturing and processing manufacturing supply chains?
In the production of the EV vehicle, there are several issues we need to take care. The first one, Mr. Luo just mentioned, that is how to reduce the weight. because if you reduce the weight, then you can increase the cruise range. One of the solutions, of course, is adopting more tubes due to the tube is lightweight and high stiffness. Now, most of the body structure and the chassis component and also the C-frames use tubes instead of steel plate, just like Mr. Low just introduced. The second issue we need to take care is that the consistency of quality. And the third one is how to improve the automation. For these two issues, the accuracy and the efficiency is the key factor. So we need more precision machinery and smarter manufacturing, which of course we know that is the advantage of our Taiwan industrial. So I believe that in the future, in the global EV industry, Taiwan will play the key role.
Okay, thank you. And then may I ask Mr. Low, what do you think the opportunity for breakthrough due to the change of material on the bending pipe processing and to electric vehicles?
Okay, I think the breakthrough is not only in pipe or tube processing, but I think in material processing as a whole. So there are three parts I see. There are new materials. So these new materials, because of their mechanical properties, the traditional machines are not able to process it well. So one of the reasons is the accuracy. The other is forming power and repeatability. So it requires more and more solutions that are all electric, that are not subjective to temperature changes, and they're stable and flexible at the same time. So, and because the materials are harder, there's a tendency to switch to non-contact cutting. Because by cutting or processing with traditional tools like blades, the life is short, which in turn causes processes to stop. So there's a switch towards cutting using, for example, laser. The second part are the designs. Car designs, because of performance, because of aesthetics, because of control panels, self-driving. These are all opportunities for us. They do not always use the traditional supply chains. So for Taiwan, we have the ability to adapt to these new demands, these new requirements. So we provide solutions, for example, such as roll bending, tight radius bending, which are all required for the new electric vehicle designs. And finally, there are new types of production lines. Like Mr. Zhou said, there's a need for greater automation. There's a need for intelligent manufacturing, which means you need to have real-time feedback for what's going on the production lines. And communication between not only inside the company, but your suppliers. So these type of breakthroughs are required, necessary, and provide an opportunity for Taiwan as a whole to this market.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Low, what's the selection strategy for the electric vehicle factories or spare part factories when choosing bending pipe applications?
The strategy is obviously customized by the product they want to manufacture. So we take into account, obviously, the shape, the material, and the tensile strength, among other things. So each product has its own tendencies, mechanical properties. It has a certain amount of tolerance, and it has a certain shape. Based on that, we can show and provide the right solution. Because of the lightweight requirements and the higher tensile strength materials, there are more and more complex shapes. The reason for these complex shapes is because there's a tendency to avoid welding. The less welding, the lighter the material can be. But the less welding there is, that means you have to finish the part in one go, in one set, one process. So you require more advanced solutions. So these are all, again, opportunities for us to go into automation, flexibility, and higher productivity with intelligent solutions.
Okay, thank you. And finally, thank you to experts and everyone for your participation. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.
谢谢。